Everyone loves a Hemi, but most Hemi classics cost as much as a house. Luckily, there's one forgotten American icon that introduced the world to the Hemi V8, and today it costs about the same as a used Volkswagen Golf. It's retro, it's rare, and it's a total steal. Here's why this Hemi original is a classic bargain. Owning a classic American car with a Hemi engine is a dream for a lot of enthusiasts. But that dream usually comes with a massive price tag. Take the 1971 Dodge Charger RT with the legendary 426 Hemi. It can cost nearly $200,000 today. But here's the surprising part. You don't actually need six figures to own a piece of Hemi history. In fact, the very first car ever fitted with a Hemi V8 is now one of the most affordable entry points into classic American muscle culture. Sure, it may not deliver the straight-line punch of modern muscle, and its retro styling is definitely from a different era. But what it does offer is distinctive looks, real historical significance, and a price tag similar to a used 2015 Volkswagen Golf. So today, we're taking a closer look at the forgotten icon that introduced America to the Hemi and why it's now a true classic bargain. Let's dive in. The 1951 Chrysler Imperial is the cheapest way to get the first Hemi V8 car. The Chrysler Imperial has been around since 1926 and was the name applied to the company's top-flight automobiles. What better way to celebrate the new dawn that was the post-war years than with a new model in 1949 that had lashings of chrome and a front fender that seemed to go on forever? It was the perfect design for the upcoming jukebox era. But not content with just creating a giant cruisy sedan that celebrated excess and freedom, Chrysler decided to roll out a new type of engine. The Hemi had been around for years before Chrysler fine-tuned the concept. Even though the word Hemi will always be associated with American muscle cars, it was around before Chrysler made it world famous. The Hemi design featured in some of the earliest automobile engines, including a four-cot Hemi in 1905 by Belgian company Pipe, and the design also starred in the 1907 Fiat 130 HP Grand Prix competition car. Chrysler was developing the Hemi engine in the 30s and even toyed with the idea of applying it to an aviation engine before creating a prototype 330 cubic inch engine called A182 in 1948 and a later 339 cubic inch dubbed the A239. The name is derived from the hemispherical design of the combustion chamber, which allows for bigger valves and higher compression ratios, as well as helping to optimize the burning mixture of air and fuel. The Hemi engine made these Chryslers quick for their time. Having passed rigorous durability tests, the new production Hemi was finally ready. This was a 180 horsepower, 331 cubic inch firepower V8, and it would be fitted into the 1951 New Yorker and Imperial. While the power output may not sound like much, the new Hemi-Powered Chrysler was a quick car for the time. It's worth remembering that in the decade that had just passed, hitting 60 miles per hour in 12 seconds was considered pretty rapid, and the Hemi cars were even quicker. The Saratoga was launched 3 months after the New Yorker and Imperial, and a two-door Club Coupe version was timed at 18.7 seconds through the quarter mile and an even 10 seconds to 60 miles per hour, says Hemmings.com, making it one of the fastest American cars available. But of these first Hemi cars, it is the Imperial that is the cheapest today. A 1951 Chrysler Imperial is probably a lot cheaper than you thought. If you wanted an Imperial in the early 50s, there were a few flavors to choose from. Buyers had the option of a two-door coupe or convertible, a sedan in base form, or the high-spec Crown Imperial. For anyone wanting to get in on the Hemi action really cheap, the standard four-door sedan is the one to go for. These cars in good condition sell for $9,400 in 2025, according to Haggard Evaluation Tools, which is not much for a big classic Chrysler fitted with an iconic engine. This is around the same money as another undervalued classic, the 1985 Corvette C4 with a 5.7-liter V8. Hagerty puts the good condition price of these cars at $8,800. The other early Hemi-powered cars. The Chrysler New Yorker was a prestigious model for the company, and in 1951 the range was restyled with a new grille. However, behind this new front was the new 331 cubic inch Hemi engine, also rated at 180 horsepower, which was 45 horsepower more than the previous inline 8. Experts such as Hemmings.com say these cars with this engine were so significant that they helped start the horsepower race with other manufacturers, which in many ways culminated in the muscle car era of the 60s. The Chrysler New Yorker is slightly more expensive as a used prospect in 2025, but not by much. There are several different body styles to choose from, including coupe, convertible, and even station wagon. But it won't come as much of a surprise to hear that the regular four-door sedan is the cheapest, costing just $11,900 in good condition, according to Hagerty. Depending on what you are after, it may be worth paying a little more for the stylish two-door Club Coupe, however, which costs $13,400. The Saratoga has competition pedigree. The Saratoga was arguably the enthusiast's choice. Arriving shortly after the Imperial and New Yorker, it was slightly lighter and therefore marginally quicker. It turned out to be a useful competition car, finishing third in the 1951 La Carrera Panamericana in Mexico, behind two Ferrari 211 Inter Coupes, as well as winning the over 2-liter class in Italy's 1953 Mille Miglia. The Saratoga is slightly more desirable than the Imperial, with a second-hand price to match. Hagerty says a good condition four-door Saratoga costs $10,800. Interestingly, the Saratoga is cheaper than the New Yorker, sitting in the middle of the 1951 Hemi lineup as a second-hand buy today. The Hemi engine today. Specs. Engine, 6.1-liter V8. Horsepower, 710 HP. Torque, 645 lb foot-pounds. 0 to 60 miles per hour, 3.5 seconds. Over the following decades, the Hemi V8 graced the engine base of some legendary cars. The engine even became popular in the 2000s in cars like the Chrysler 300C. However, recently the Hemi seems to be running out of road. One of the last cars to hold the Hemi torch is the Dodge Durango, available with a supercharged 6.2-liter V8.
Subscribe to my channel!